Hi everybody, Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yeehaw! And that was an interesting yeehaw. I have been playing a ton of Azumarill. I streamed for about 6 hours playing it, and then I played a few games after that, as many as I could get in ranked where other people weren't grabbing it. So I wanted to bring you this video, should you buy Azumarill? Every time a new Pokemon comes out, I love to make a video talking about whether or not you should buy it. I always give the caveat up top that it's, complete personal preference. What works for one person doesn't work for someone else. I'm going to give you the reasons you might like this Pokemon, the reasons you might not like this Pokemon, and then I'll give you my overall suggestion on what I think of Azumarill. I will start by saying Azumarill is very fun. I believe that about most every Pokemon inside this game. It's a fun Pokemon to play. It's pretty unique. It's interesting because it feels like a very brawler type Pokemon, but the more I play with it, I recognize that it feels like it's kind of squishier than I expected. So at times it maybe feels actually a little more assassin-y. A lot of people were hoping that we would get a speedster added to the game, and in some ways I do feel like Azumarill kind of feels like a speedster at times. I feel like it's at its best when you're kind of diving in and taking someone down and using your Unite move, which I guess is something to talk about with this Pokemon. Again, it is an all-rounder. It costs 10,000 coins. Drop my pen. It costs 10,000 coins or 575 gems. I believe that's how that works out. So it is at the highest end of the spectrum. We've never had a Pokemon cost more than this, but we've had quite a few cost 10,000 coins. As an all-rounder, I feel like one issue with this Pokemon, sort of something in the con section for why you might not buy Azumarill, is I don't really know what role it's filling that you might not have. You probably have a speedster. It's not exactly like Zeraora, but there are vibes of Zeraora there, or you may have Zarina. It's not exactly like Zarina, but there are vibes of Zarina there. So if you're looking for something wholly unique that you don't really have in your roster of Pokemon at all, I don't think this one really fits the bill, as opposed to something like, let's say, Aegislash, where that Pokemon I feel like is completely unique. I don't feel like another Pokemon gives me those vibes at all. In my notes, I wrote that this Pokemon has sort of Garchomp vibes, where I think, great, I like this. Where does it fit in onto a lot of teams? So competitively, I don't know if we're going to see this Pokemon. I kind of doubt we're actually going to see this Pokemon. I think it had the ability to compete with some of the top Pokemon in the meta, like Lucario, for its path, but at the same time, I think this Pokemon, because of its stats and how it worked out, it doesn't really compete with them. If I were to give it a ranking right now, again, this is rushed, premature, I think it's probably solidly somewhere in the B, maybe as low as C, but I think probably somewhere in the B, especially if you're playing solo. And I think that's a good distinction. So competitively, I don't know. It might not make it into competitive teams. I'm sure some teams will try it. Maybe they could try it on a score comp. You get your Unite a lot, but at the same time, I don't know how many teams we're going to see running this Pokemon. It is not releasing in a crazy, overpowered way. I know some people are very interested in Pokemon that are great and that release very powerful. Like, for instance, Duraludon. Duraludon was crazy powerful when it was released. This Pokemon, in many ways, really reminds me of Aegislash. It's good. It's not terrible. It's not amazing. It does some cool things. Feels a little unique. Its Unite move is interesting. Charges insanely fast, by the way. Fastest charge time in Unite. I think it's tied with Pikachu and Talon, maybe one other, but boy, this Unite charges insanely fast. Before I get to more positive things, a few other kind of complaints I have about this Pokemon. One, I feel like it's slow. It just moves kind of slow. I wish it was slightly, just a hair faster. The whole time I was playing it, I was always thinking, why can't you be just a little bit faster, or have one of your moves like Whirlpool or something like that give you a little move speed or something. It just felt a little like, come on, give me a little something here, Azumarill. I also think, for whatever it's worth, one of its moves is bad. I think Play Rough is just bad. I don't know. It doesn't work well. I can't wait to see a video called Play Rough Good, and I will make Play Rough Badge. But I think it is a bad move. I don't know. It just doesn't do any damage. The speed up on it's not very good. You're stuck using it. You don't become invulnerable. I thought you were invulnerable at first. You aren't. But anyway, lots of Pokemon have a bad move. The other 3 moves I think are all pretty cool. Talked about its Unite move a moment ago, and that's one of the standout parts of Azumarill's kit. Its Unite move, crazy low cooldown on it. The charge time on it's extremely low. Feels like you have it all the time. Good for diving, a little short on the range, but it's pretty good for diving. And one nice thing you can do with this Pokemon, as I mentioned earlier, it's a little more assassin-y than other all-rounders, I would say. It really feels like you are using this to dive in on sort of backline carries and stuff like that. The only problem is you kind of need to get there, so you might be running X speed or an eject button or something like that to possibly position yourself for some of these fights. It also feels like it's good at off-laning, so while the rest of your team is fighting something, because everything you critically hit when you're hitting a single thing, like a single enemy Pokemon, a single wild Pokemon you're critically hitting, it's pretty good for off-laning. You find a lot of good opportunities where you catch someone or you're just scoring when the enemy is not around. Strangely enough, I thought the critical hit aspect of it was going to do more. I guess we're heading into sort of a complaint about it, but its passive is cool. Every time you're hitting only one Pokemon, you are critically hitting. And unless another Pokemon is like right there, then you're still not critically hitting. But in general, you are always doing a critical hit when you're hitting one Pokemon. So an easy counter for this Pokemon is just fight it with multiple Pokemon. You see an enemy Azumarill, you just fight it with multiple allies. That is how you fight it. So while I think this is a really cool idea, they've actually sort of pulled back its critical hit stats. So you're not doing as much damage with your critical hits because you are critically hitting more. It's weird because they have to balance this Pokemon, and like I said, it's kind of in the middle, so it's kind of balanced, but I would hope that that would feel a little better. I would hope that there would be more of a pop to the critical hits. All of this talk does lead me to a big positive with this Pokemon, which is I don't think it's getting a big nerf. So with Duraludon, it came out and immediately we all knew this Pokemon's getting a nerf. This Pokemon's way too strong. You're gonna buy this Pokemon and they're gonna nerf it very, very soon. If they nerf Azumarill, I would be super surprised. I don't know exactly what they would want to nerf on this character. It feels pretty in line. So if you're playing this character, getting good with it, I don't think you have to worry that in a week we're getting a big nerf. Watch me say that and somehow we do. I mean, I can't explain every decision that's made, but I don't think you're going to be seeing a nerf for this Pokemon. It feels like this is around what it's going to be. Maybe actually a buff to play rough. Some big pros for me are you can do a jungle invade with this Pokemon. We did it a few times on stream and it was actually pretty decent, and the enemy was pretty surprised with it, so that was super fun. Another pro is stacking on this Pokemon seems very important. So does an item like weakness policy. This Pokemon really generates everything off of its attack stat, including its healing. So a lot of these items that are fun but you don't get to use often, like an attack weight, weakness policy, stuff like that, are pretty important on a Pokemon like that. And I think that's cool because there are a lot of Pokemon that just can't take advantage of some of these items, and it's a different play style getting to play a Pokemon that is focused on scoring goals so you can get stronger, and a Pokemon that, you know, you're in the battle long enough to take advantage of weakness policy. I think that is very cool. So now I'm going to hit you with my verdict. I am going to tell you whether or not I think you should buy this Pokemon. If you've liked what I have to say, don't care about my verdict. Just pick the Pokemon up. It's cool. Grab it. If you don't like the stuff I've talked about, don't pick those Pokemon up. It's not for you because I told you all the things and you went, I didn't like those things. What has me leaning towards a buy is the fact that this Pokemon is probably not going to get a nerf and you can play it and have a great time. And as a solo queue player, which is mainly what I play, I feel like you can influence the match decently enough and you can help your team. The thing that's kind of leaning me against a buy is the fact that I don't think it's insanely unique, and I can't think of a ton of situations where I'd really want to jump on this Pokemon because I just think there aren't a lot of team comps I would want to throw it in. So for me, I guess I'm kind of lukewarm on this Pokemon, and if someone had 10,000 coins, they say, please, I need to know if I should buy Azumarill, I would say, maybe not. That's kind of what I would say. As with anything like this, your individual mileage will vary, so don't take that as a recommendation that you can't pick this Pokemon up. I just think right now, it's whelming. Not overly, not under, but it's whelming. If you want to be whelmed, grab Azumarill. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I got a ton more stuff with this Pokemon coming very soon. I love you all. Play rough badge.